Yeah, scared of the unknown, bro.
Why not just simply start, bro? Why not just simply start?
You're falling behind because of inaction.
I feel like I've done a lot, and I feel like I've learned a lot, but I haven't moved.
Confidence only comes by doing.
How do you create structure and clarity with something that you're unaware of?
So what if you start something and it doesn't work out, or it's harder than you thought? At least you've moved.
You might get bitten, you might get a scratch, you might get a cut, or you might get a wound or a gash, you might have a near-death experience.
You will.
You will.
You will, bro.
You will actually.
You will.
You will actually.
Don't sugarcoat. Don't sugarcoat this thing,
You
bro.
will. Welcome back, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, and people who do not like to identify themselves. We are the Unplug Podcast, and if you're joining us for the first time, we are all about helping you unplug from societal norms so you can live life on your own terms.
Indeed, we are for those who feel stuck, unsure, know they're capable of more, but just don't know how to get to where they're trying to go. So if that sounds like you, I'm telling you now, you're in the right place.
Here we go.
Let's go.
And boys and girls, we are on a mission.
Indeed.
JP, my bro, what's our mission?
The mission, guys, is 1,000 subscribers. So me and my boy, we've been doing this now just over a year. We've been pushing, we've been grinding every single week for the last 68 weeks. We've been giving you guys sauce, juice, everything that we have. So now we want you to come on board fully. And if you haven't subscribed already, please make sure you click that big subscribe button in the middle of your screen. It helps us, it helps the algorithm, and we are now on that road to 1,000 subs.
100%. And guys, we're accommodating. So maybe you're on the go, you've got a busy family, and you might not have time to sit down and take all this goodness in. So we are now on Apple Podcasts and also Spotify. So you can listen to us on the go, take us in on Audible, and get all that juice.
Indeed, indeed. All right, guys, so today we are talking about something that keeps a lot of people stuck in the trap. We are talking about the certainty trap. Now, we're not saying that you're lazy. We're just saying you're the type of person that likes to have everything in place before you make that move. You like your ducks lined up. You like this perfect. You like that perfect. You know, you're waiting for the right moment. But like we know, there is never the right time.
Exactly. And just sort of like further explaining and defining what the certainty trap, because this looks unapparent in our day-to-day life. This is very much so when you're not too sure if this will fully work. You're not too sure if this is the right move. You're not too sure if you're going to fail, if you're going to win, or it's going to be worth your time, your effort, your money, any other one of your resources. Or maybe it might be a timing thing. You're waiting for your stars to align, your ducks to fall in a row, your northern hemisphere to be right. But what you need to understand that the most meaningful things begin with doubt. The most big decisions come with incomplete information. Most people want certainty first, but certainty usually comes after action.
No, definitely. And I think what people need to understand is that they don't necessarily even need more certainty. They just need more courage. They need to get to a place where they're happy to make that move, even if they don't know what happens next. Because ultimately, life is a journey where we can never really account for anything that's going to happen. So we just need to move and adapt to the next move.
110%. And do you know what's funny? We've got a friend, let's call him David, right? Let's call him George.
Let's call him George.
Let's call him George.
I know George.
Inside joke. We've got a friend called George, right? Or my George anyway. He's been wanting to get into music for quite a long time, bro. Right? He said like he wants to get into like music management. He's into like his football and his music, and he's been a smart guy. I've known him since I was like 10 years old, 11 years old in secondary, right? Year 7. And every single time like we kick ball, like I drop him home, like you have to kind of like long car chats with your boys and and you're just kind of talking about life, what's our goals. And then I remember specifically talking to him about this conversation. I'm like, bro, I think at this time we were like 22. I was like, bro, in the next like 8 years, bro, we're going to be 30, bro. And if you don't have your ducks in a row, if you don't know what you're doing, you're officially going to enter that stage of your life where you become a waste man, right? A literal waste man. So like, bro, what's the plan? What do you want to do? He said, like, bro, I'm trying to do this music management thing. So what have you done? Like, what steps? I think you might need some qualifications, or I'm trying to figure out like what's the best way to go about it. Should I go on rap? Should I go on drill? Should I go on hip hop? Should I go on R&B? Should I look at South London acts, or should I go on wider England? I was like, bro, like, why not just simply start, bro? Why not just simply start? Like, what does it take? What does it cost you to manage an artist? How many people want to make music? What does it take for you to go on YouTube, go on Spotify, and DM an artist that literally has 40 followers? You think they're going to respond to you?
No, totally. And that's the thing about the certainty trap, you know. People wait to feel comfortable. They wait to feel ready. They want to have everything lined up to give them the confidence to make the move. But we know that confidence only comes by doing. Essentially, you know, we speak about it all the time. You know, conversations me and Freeman have, it's like, before you do something, you want clarity. You almost like want to know how things are going to turn out before they turn out. But you're never going to know how things turn out until you actually do the thing. So the key here now is to just make the move, and it doesn't even matter what happens, because whatever happens, you can always adjust.
Yeah.
But there's that, the minute you go now, you have to put yourself out in the world, and a lot of people are scared to do that.
Yeah, they don't feel comfortable. But why do you think that is?
Because
where does this kind of like consensus of guarantee and the utmost assurance come from?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things is that people are scared of what other people think. So no one wants to look bad. And people almost feel like if they fail or it doesn't work out, they look bad to other people. And it's funny, I was having this conversation with someone last night, and I'm like, it doesn't matter if you look bad or not. So what? So what if you start something and it doesn't work out, or it's harder than you thought, or at least you've moved. And once you move from 0 to step 1, you can then figure out how to get to step 2. But if you step 0, you're not going to make any progress. But I just think, there's a big thing about people caring about what other people think, and that kind of stopping them from doing what they need to do.
100%.
What about you? What's your thoughts? What makes you feel, or why do you feel that people just operate in that way?
I think humans are quite conditioned to structure and habitual habits. Now, it's very difficult to structure and to create a habit of something you've never done before. So I think that's where the conflict comes from within, where it's, you know, we've been taught up, you go to school, you get a fancy degree, you get a decent job, you get married, you have your wife and your kids, and you get a nice house, you work up the ladder, and then you die. Like, there's a very clear structure. Now, anything outside of that structure is unknown territory, effectively, right? So how do you create structure and clarity with something that you're unaware of? So, and I think that's where it is. And then now it's I'm going against the grain here of like the general consensus and population. Like, oh, what? Like you said, what will people think about me, right? What will people think? I don't want to go to uni. Like, you know, that's like a big, like, especially like in the West African culture, that's like a taboo thing. What do you mean you don't want to go? You know, what do you mean you don't want to go secondary education? What do you mean you don't want to go further education, higher education? Like, that's a big like taboo thing. So I think it's like you said, like caring a lot less about what people think. And you'd be very surprised. So you'd be very surprised the people who you thought cared didn't care.
Yeah, they're too busy in their own lives, bro.
Literally.
They're too busy in their own lives. And I think another big thing that I've realized from people who, you know, they need that guarantee, they need that certainty, is that what you need to understand is that the longer you procrastinate on making the move or trying something, it's like you lose out on future opportunities. It becomes more expensive because inaction effectively will cost you in the long run.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You're falling behind because of inaction. You know, we both listen to the podcast that I circulated to, you know, my circle of people. And it's like, you have someone, you have the thinker and then you have the doer. So the thinker's trying to get everything perfect. They want everything, they want the ducks align. They want everything just to be perfect before they make that move. But when you do that, you overanalyze. And all of a sudden you now fall into what we call analysis paralysis, where you're analyzing things so much that you don't move. And that's costly. In the long run, that will cost you. And yeah, you just end up staying static and not moving.
No, 110%. Sorry to interrupt you guys there. I know you're getting a lot of gems and gist from us right now, but I have a strong PSA. 70% of you right now are currently not subscribed to our podcast. Why? Please click the big red notification button and also subscribe, and tell a friend to tell a friend. You can get back to the episode now. Taking it a bit more personally now, where would you say there was a time or moment in your life where you felt you were stuck in this sort of certainty trap where you wanted all your stars to align before you actually made action?
I think leaving my job to pursue this business full time, I think for a very long time, I think I worked in my job whilst running this business for maybe about 3 years. So I stayed, for those of you who don't know, see, I run my business full time. It hasn't always been like that, and it never always will be like that when you start a business. But for 3 years, I ran my job alongside the business, and I was, scared of the unknown, bro. Like, it's scary to now leave certainty for uncertainty. But I've learned that in order for you can't chase two rabbits. Shout out Sheldon. He gave me that one. You can't chase two rabbits. And I think at that point in my life, I was trying to do the 9-to-5 thing and also trying to be an entrepreneur. And in the short term, it worked. You got to build out. But in the long term, you stay stuck, you stay stagnant. And I think you approach your work with a different mentality when you're all in. Because when you're all in, it has to work. You've got no other, there is no plan B.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like the minute you can either make a choice or you can make a decision. And a decision is when you have options. A choice is, this is what I choose to do. So if you still have an option to make a decision, you now procrastinate.
Yeah.
You now doubt. You now think, is this going to work? Whereas when you make a choice, you just go.
Yeah, it's all or nothing.
So going back to what I was saying, just the whole job thing, and after leaving, I've not looked back, bro. I feel like I'm a different person now because things that felt scary, I've overcome. And I could only have overcome them by putting myself in the position to be uncomfortable. And we always say, you know, you have to get comfortable being uncomfortable.
No, 100%.
Take me back to a time, my boy, where
I feel like for me,
sat on the fence for a while.
I feel like for me, I'm going to take this slightly outside of business, a bit more personable. I was in a relationship of friends that I was very, very accustomed to, right? We sort of like just like played a lot of games, like did a lot of like social things, but wasn't actually conducive to like my bigger goal, like my bigger kind of purpose. And I always felt to myself that, like I'm in this kind of group of friends, I'm in this sort of like relationship, in this sort of circle right now. And if I go and try to find someone else, like no one's going to understand me. No one's going to like get my jokes. No one's going to understand my personality. I built up so much experience and so much life experience with these guys. Like I don't want to sort of like jump into another group. And that held me back a lot. It held me back a lot. Because I didn't sort of want to move on. I didn't want to feel like I was sort of like being out there by myself and trying to do something new. So I feel like that certainty trap of like the unknown of like kind of like branching out, and networking and kind of getting to know other people was like a big thing for me, sort of like in my early 20s. Because again, like, you know, everyone went to uni, I didn't go uni. So like I was sort of like very lost in this space. And I feel like a lot of people can potentially relate where like maybe you're stuck in like, you know, relationships with boyfriends and girlfriends that are very toxic, that you know you shouldn't be in, or you're stuck in a very sort of like tight work environment that there's a ceiling and you can't break past that until you move on. Or you're in, you know, it could be like friendships and relationships and circles and environments that are not conducive for your health or for your prosperous future, right? And I feel like the certainty of like just, you know, we always say the relationship of convenience, it's a deadly drug. It's a deadly drug and it's a deadly situation to sort of be in. And I feel like that for me was like a big thing. I'm trying to like break free of that certainty of like acclimatizing to like my, you know, normal kind of environment.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people will be listening to this, watching this now thinking, I am that person who is addicted to preparation. I like to prepare, I like to plan, I like to get everything all lined up. But what you need to understand is that in being that person, it saves you from being tested, because if you're busy planning and preparing, you're not actually testing what you're capable of. You're not actually bringing your idea to market. You're not actually getting uncomfortable. And I think people like to prepare because it keeps them comfortable.
Yeah.
They don't have to now test their potential.
Yes.
Like, if I put myself out there, am I now going to do all the things that I said I'm going to do? Because before that, everything lives in my head and I can be the man.
Yeah.
I can say to everybody, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And that almost gives you a full sense of security.
Yeah.
But until you have to actually step out in the world and do what you need to do, you're just a professional planner.
Yeah, 100%.
A professional thinker.
And I think the problem, I think a lot of the time with planning, right? And let's not knock this, guys. Like, we're not saying like don't plan, don't prepare. There's obviously like it's about that fine balance.
Indeed.
Right? But I feel like when you're over planning and you're over analyzing, it can feel like you're doing something.
Yes.
But in reality, you're actually doing nothing.
Yes, you're going around in circles.
Right? And we always been talking, we listened to that podcast with Myron Golden as well. And he says, you always kind of want to focus on like the one thing that will move the lever. I think that's so important. Like, what one thing within your plan can you actionably do that will actually move the lever to wherever it is you want to do or go or become, right? And I feel like that's such a big thing, because I get stuck in that a lot. Even to this day, where like I'm planning, I'm doing this, I'm, dotting my I's and crossing the T's and making sure I've done that, I've looked at that, I watched this, download this transcript, put it into ChatGPT, are you sure this? And I feel like I've done a lot, and I feel like I've learned a lot, but I haven't moved. All this knowledge, all this theory with no practical aspects.
Yeah. Yeah, like going back to Myron Golden, he said a very famous line, and he said, it's not how many hours you put in, it's what you put in the hours. So you could be working an 8-hour day, but if you really do an audit on your time, within those 8 hours, what have you actually done? You've probably gone on your phone 100 million times, check this, check that, been on the phone. What have you really done that is gonna, like you said, make the needle move, that is impactful?
Yes.
So
yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. And so just adding on as well, like we're even seeing like a shift in like society now where, like, for instance, a lot of university students are massively unemployed, right?
Big one.
Whereas the apprentice who did a lot of that practical application earlier on as opposed to that theoretical are in jobs.
Yes.
Because employers are saying, yeah, you have this qualification, you've got 3 to 4 years of practical...
But you've got no experience.
of theoretical information, but you've got no experience.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, even look at that. Right now, like, you've got 8 years of experience, but this guy's got, so you've got 8 years of theory, but this guy's got 8 years of experience on the job. Now, who would you rather?
Yeah, 100%.
We are interrupting this program to deliver an urgent announcement to all citizens of Earth.
This journal has absolutely changed my life and how I go about planning, thinking, and documenting my whole journey as an entrepreneur. The Successful Man has been an absolute game changer. It's not just your normal and average diary where you've just got calendar dates, but it's got clear action plans and clear taking action to guide you on where you need to be. If you're stuck and you want some change and you want clarity and you're stuck with those old journals with just simple date entries and you want clear guidance, accountability, and development, this is the journal for you. There's going to be a link somewhere here, or check out our bio to where you can get your own copy. The Successful Man.
No, I like that. And I like that. And just kind of to bring it back to you guys to just make it a bit more relatable. So in terms of, what does a certainty trap look like for different types of people? So it could be someone who, you want to lose weight, but you keep saying, I'll start next month. It could be someone who wants to start a business, but they're saying, I'm going to wait till I save a little bit more money. It could be the person saying, I'm going to create that content. This sounds like me, actually, but I need a better camera, or I need better lighting, or I need to feel ready. Like, guys, there is no right time to feel ready. You need to make the move when you're not ready. It forces you to just move. Move, and then once you start to move, you build momentum, things start to happen, you gain clarity through movement. And I think that's another big thing. I feel a lot of people get stuck in the certainty trap because they're trying to gain clarity. They want to see 200 yards ahead without moving 10 yards. So if you move 10 yards, you get to see the 200 yards a bit clearer. But if you stay in the same place you are, look at it like a car. I think the podcast you use as an example. You've got a car that's parked on a driveway and you've got to travel somewhere, and you could be sat in your car with a map trying to work out the perfect way to get to your destination. Or you could start the engine, get in the car and go and figure it out along the way, rather than be sat on the driveway trying to figure out this perfect way to get to where you want to get to. So what are we saying, guys? Move. Even if you don't feel like, even if it's just one baby thing, just move.
Yeah, and I feel like just sort of like really hitting this home, right? Like, as well, like, people want guarantees before they act, but life doesn't give guarantees. The only one guarantee, or the two guarantees in life are taxes, and death. Not to sound so morbid, but that's the only
That's the
guarantee you're going to
reality,
get,
bro.
right? So you never fully know if this business is going to work. You never fully know if the content will slap. You never fully know if this move is right, this new job, this new position is right. But that's normal, right? And the issue is when people use uncertainty as a reason to just stay still and stop.
Indeed. Cool. Yeah. So I think, you know, even for me, if I very quickly, because I don't want to bore you, but I just feel like within my own personal life, if I waited and waited and waited to feel ready to even start this business, I'd probably still be in my 9-to-5 job because I'm getting that guaranteed monthly income every month.
Yep.
Life is cool. It's comfortable.
Yeah.
You know, I have no real urgency to do anything. So I stay where I am. But I had to get to a place where it's uncomfortable to set something up whilst you're at your job. It's uncomfortable to come home from work and you're knackered, but you're still putting in the hours. It's uncomfortable to turn around and say to your manager, you know what, thank you, but I'm moving now. Very uncomfortable, bro. But it forces you to just get used to being uncomfortable and just doing and just no longer being that person who just talks. It trains you to be an executor.
100%.
You know?
And it very much like it waterfalls to every other aspect of your life as well. And I feel like what people need to really understand is that confidence often comes after action, not before it. People think that they need to be confident first, but you actually only become confident
by doing.
By simply surviving the very thing that you were afraid of. You see all these, like, you know, these nature buffs, like, or like wrestling bears and alligators and snakes. Like, no one just wakes up and can confidently look a snake in the eye. Like, you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, one just gets sort of comfortable. It's like, yeah, let me go into this swamp and start wrestling this alligator that's literally double the size of me and like can literally kill me in an instant.
Yeah.
Right. There's a lot of fear, like there's a lot of uncomfortability, but then it takes practice. It takes getting used to that animal. It takes understanding their mannerisms and trying. And you might get bitten. You might get a scratch. You might get a cut, or you might get a wound or a gash, or you might have a near-death experience.
You will.
You will.
You will, bro.
You will actually.
You will.
You will actually.
Don't sugarcoat. Don't sugarcoat this thing,
you
bro.
Will. You will. But then you will also come the other end of that, the other side of that, and that's what builds up the confidence. Think about what you're so confident about right now. Think about something you're really good at. Think about your highest skill. Now think back to when you first started and compare.
Yeah.
Right? Did you build up that confidence by just simply being amazingly talented, or did you constantly put in your hours?
Yeah,
like John said.
No, totally. And you know what? While you was talking, I thought of something, and I thought that I think a big thing why people, you know, stay in a certainty trap and they don't move is because they lack confidence. But they try and gain confidence through preparation and stalling. But really and truthfully, like we know, you only get confident by learning new things, by doing. So if you know that, that tells you that in order for you to gain that confidence, in order for you to gain that clarity, in order for you to build consistency, you have to act. And it's by acting is where you learn. Because you could sit here for the next 6 months learning, or think you're learning. But when you get out in the field, all that time you wasted learning probably wasn't any good to you anyway, bro.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like the market will go into a market, and it's the doing is where the learning is gained.
100%. And it's almost like you're trying to plan a war without going into battle, right? It's very, very hard. Like, imagine like you're trying to plan a war and understand how to defeat the opponents. And by the time you go into the battlefield, everything is shifted.
Yeah, everything's changed.
You might be winning. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I feel that's also the trap as well with so that's also the issue with the certainty trap as well, is because the goal field, the environment, the shift of everything is ever moving. Legislation, regulation, what's good, what's not good anymore. But by simply just getting involved and actually being in battle, like, that's the only way you're gonna learn.
Yeah, I'm laughing because this episode's about the certainty trap, but it's like people are trying to gain certainty without getting certainty. Does that make sense? Certainty is not a starting point. Like, it's a byproduct of actually doing something. So you're in the certainty trap because you're trying to gain certainty, but you haven't or you don't understand that you only gain certainty
by doing.
Conundrum.
But
yeah,
bro, as you know, like we've given them a lot of sauce, but let's talk about some like 3 practical steps.
Let's go 2.
Let's go 2. Let's
2.
Yeah, let's.
Myron Golden, I'm plugged in right now. He said something funny. He was like, everyone can count to 2.
Yeah.
Right? And also, it's easy to remember 2 things.
Okay, I like that.
I like that.
Okay, cool.
I like that. You give 1, I give 1.
Say no more.
2 things. So there's no excuses now. No more 5 ways and 4
7 ways to get
7 ways, like 2 ways.
Yeah.
You can count to 2 and you can remember 2 things.
Cool. So I think I'll start first. I think my one escape route to get out of the certainty trap is by appropriately and specifically having a smart agenda. And what I mean by smart is setting specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound, right? And I feel like when you set a smart agenda, that kind of confines you to the amount of over-analysis that you might potentially do, right? Set yourself a specific goal. Measure how much of that goal you can do, and realistically, that goal that you can do, is it achievable? Now, set realistic expectations, and most importantly, create a time-bound experience, right? So just set very clear agendas of what it is that you want to do, and keep that within your planning loop, so you're not just sort of like over-analyzing constantly. So I think that's my one.
Yeah, no, I like that. Again, for those of you who listen to this podcast and follow us for a while, I'm very big on mindset, because I think everything starts with a certain mindset, and I feel like we've all been conditioned somewhat to behave, believe, and have certain ideologies around various different things. So it's almost like we need to shift. It's almost like we need to forget what we know to learn new things. And I think the first thing I would do is understand that if you are the person who craves certainty, you need to understand that you can't get certainty by standing still. So you need to shift your mind. It's almost like you need to look at certainty in a different way. You know, and that way is understanding that I can no longer think I can gain certainty by not doing. I can only gain certainty by doing. And that little switch in that thought process,
game changer,
will make you realize, actually, while I'm preparing and this and that and not moving, I can't gain anything.
Yeah.
So I have to put out that piece of content. I have to start that business. I have to go to the gym. I have to read that book. I have to execute the idea that's been sitting in my head for the last 2 years to actually gain some certainty from what I want to do.
And the craziest thing, people, is that it's probably going to be so much easier or so much simpler than you probably ever imagined. I'm just looking back to every single time I overplanned, I overanalyzed. And the one time I just like, let me just do it, bun it. Let me just do it. Let me just crack on. I'm like, what? I spent all this time thinking about that, and all it was this? So yeah, I think that's like the real epiphany moment, thinking, yeah.
So guys, this is the part of the show called Unplug Truths. This is where myself and Freeman read out something profound that we feel you need to hear. So my unplugged truth reads, you are not stuck because you need more time. You are stuck because you keep negotiating with fear. So very simply, you are not moving because you're scared of what you think is going to happen. But the reality is, what you're scared of may never happen. But there's only one way to find out. Just do the thing.
110%. No, I love that. And I think naturally, my unplugged truth is very much on par with that. It's the biggest risk is not failing. The biggest risk is spending years pretending you're preparing.
I like that.
Years pretending you're preparing. And I think that's massively important because, again, like we get stuck in this false reality that we're actually doing something with all this planning and preparation. Like, how's that book coming along? Yeah, I'm just getting some notes and I'm just figuring it out and I'm getting the concept. So you've actually not put pen to paper.
I call it fake dopamine.
Fake dopamine. Yeah. Yeah.
It feels good to talk about something. Like it's good to tell someone, say, oh, what are you doing? Yeah, I'm working on this thing. It feels good. But the reality is nothing going on, man.
At all.
So
no, I really, really like that.
But I just want to throw out, man, I want to say to the guys, let me ask you one thing. What are you waiting on right now? What move, what decision, what step Have you been putting off something that you don't feel ready for? And if that is the case, the big truth is, man, you're never going to feel ready. You're never going to feel 100% ready to make the move. So you have to get in your mind that be 5% ready and be okay with it. Be 10% ready, but you're never going to feel 100% ready because it's impossible, bro.
And on that note, I think that's a wonderful way to sort of like close for today's app. I really, really hope you appreciate all the gems and all the advice that we've given, and just sort of sharing like some open perspectives as well. Like, we're not perfect. Like, you know, we're very much...
Speak for yourself.
But like, yeah, again, like, guys, we're just sharing very like relatable experiences as well. So like, please make sure like you share this with people. Again, remember, we are on Apple Podcast and Spotify, so you can listen to us a go. Hit that big, massive subscribe button. And as always, make sure you tell a friend to tell a friend, tell your mum, tell your dad, tell his mistress. Please tell her.
Please.
And as always, guys, love, love, love.
Elevate.